Hello and welcome to another episode of the Best You and Interview series. It's Gary here again. Thank you very much, as always, for joining me. And today I'm joined by entrepreneur and author Barry Labov.
Labov.
Labov. Okay, we've got it right there now. My apologies. To
No problem.
discuss his entrepreneurial journey and also his book. Barry is a two-time Entrepreneur of the Year recipient, founder of marketing firm Labov, and his clients include, now this one's a bit close to my heart, Macallan
Mhm.
Scotch and Harley and Audi, and is author of Simon and Schuster Distributed The Power of Differentiation. And we will get into a lot of differentiation conversations today. Barry, thank you very much for joining me.
Gary, it's a pleasure. I've been looking forward to this for months, so I'm ready to go.
Wonderful. Excellent. So let's start kind of almost at the beginning or the beginning of this journey anyway. Can you share the story behind founding Labov and specifically what were some of the biggest challenges you faced in the early stages of getting going?
Uh, my biggest challenge was I never wanted to be in business. That was my biggest challenge. My second biggest challenge was I definitely didn't want to sell anything. So I had a couple of challenges. I started out when I was 10, 11, 12 years old, writing songs. And I was in a rock band with my brother, and it was a really bad sounding band. It
Yeah.
was horrible. It was just two of us playing, but we were singing our hearts out. And I was writing songs and learning how to record. And then eventually I started working with really old guys. I mean, they were like 17, 18. Some of them were really old, like 20 years old.
Oh, boy.
And I mean, they only had so much time to live. I mean, they were so old. And I kept doing that and really got into the excitement of creating something and rallying people around it. Because, when you're in a rock band, most of the time you're not making any money. So you got to keep motivating these guys to show up to practice. And it wasn't easy, but it was really worthwhile. So I did that for a number of years and started to dabble into jingles, those irritating little ditties that you hear. And I started writing those while I still had my band. And then one day, I had a very traumatic thing happen, and that was my father passed away. He was 63 years old, very young. And I still remember to this moment, I was taking a walk. It was like 10:30 at night. I was by myself, and I thought, I don't know how long I'm going to live. My dad, it shocked me. I mean, I didn't think he'd ever die, and he passed away. And I thought, my gosh, I'm kind of working in this rock band and I'm kind of working on my jingle business. And, what do I really want to do? Now, it surprised me that I came to the conclusion that I wanted to really work in my business. I felt it was time to do that, not to make more money at all, but it was to do something that I thought was fair, let's say, something that I thought was um, that had a possible good future to it. Because in a rock band, it's all down to chance. It's all down to that. And in business, it's less down to chance. So I suspended my rock band. I just said, okay, I'm ready. I'm done. And I worked on this business. And the big breakthrough was about a year later. One of our larger clients that we did some jingles and some other audio work for came to me and said, hey, I want you to buy our marketing department. And then what we'll do is we'll give you all our marketing, your company, all our marketing for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
So being a very young and impressionable entrepreneur, I said, no, I don't think so. But here are some companies you can go to. So they said, oh, okay. So they called me again, called me again. And a year later, I'll remember this forever. I was in my office and somebody said, hey, so-and-so's on the phone. I thought, oh no, is he going to ask me this again? And he did. He said, I want you to take over our marketing department with your company, and then we will guarantee 3 years of business with you.
Yeah.
And I said, I've given you all these other companies to work with. I've given you names of other agencies. I've done everything I can. Why do you keep coming back to me? And he said, because Barry, we trust you.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh. So at that moment, Gary, I said, okay. And he said, what do you mean, okay? I said, let's do it. He said, all right, I'll see you Monday morning. I said, okay. And it sounds like everything went perfect after that. It didn't. I showed up that Monday. I took over that department. It was a mess. All the employees there hated working for that company. So of the 6 employees, 3 of them quit. One of them was a drug addict, so he disappeared. Another 2 didn't really want to do anything. So all of a sudden I thought, okay, I've inherited this work, but I really don't have people that want to do it.
Yeah.
Then I looked at their list of projects to do, and most of them there were 200 of them, but most of them were not even realistic. They were so old, they had no value. I thought, oh my gosh. And then, Gary, the third thing that happened was I started getting phone calls from my current clients, which were ad agencies that I was doing jingles for. And they basically said, hey, we hear that you're now an ad agency. And I said, yeah. And they said, okay, you're a competitor, so we won't send you any more business.
Oh my dear.
I went, okay. So I thought, I just took on this big opportunity, but I lost most of my clients.
Yeah.
And it turned out great because about a year after that, I was nominated for Entrepreneur of the Year for the work I was doing with that company. And it connected me with a client, Volkswagen and Audi, who I worked with for the next 30 years. So it turned out pretty well, but it was a long road. It was a lot of work. And through the years, I was a one-man shop and then a 2 or 3 person shop and then a 60-person shop. And then we reorganized how we were doing business, and we're more like a 30-person shop right now. But
Yeah.
we have those clients all over the world. We have very small clients that we love, and we have very big clients that we love. We don't focus only on one size of client. So
Yeah.
it's been a great ride.
It sounds incredible with some genuine, poignant moments that seem to have shaped both you as a person and your approach to business. And one
Hmm.
thing that really resonated with me there, Barry, was, the opportunity that was essentially staring you in the face, actually probably kind of slapping you all around the face.
Yeah.
And you're kind of you're thinking, no, I'm okay, I'm okay. And then as soon as they made it personal, as soon as they said, this is about you. This is a connection that we have to and with you. It has to be you. What sort of feelings and thoughts were coming up for you at the time?
Gary, that's a great insight. It became personal
Yeah.
to me. And I thought, oh my gosh. One thing is there's no one right way or wrong way to be an entrepreneur. I mean, I don't know of any one path. And there are times you have to say no because it's just not the right thing. But I got to tell you, as an entrepreneur, more often than not, you've got to step back and go, now, wait a minute. I know this isn't what I've been doing.
Mm.
But number one, am I capable of it? And number two, could I actually grow from this? Could I actually be a better person or a better leader because of it? And then I think maybe number three, the person who's offering this opportunity, the client, do you want to work with them? Do you want to give them your best? And do you feel that they would accept imperfection from you? And if you feel good about all those things, you just got to go for it. I think otherwise you're just stuck being that tiny little shop that if one client leaves you, you're starving to death. And I just never wanted to be that.
Yeah. Yeah, so you did, or I did mention in your bio that you have some genuine iconic brands
Yes.
within your client portfolio. What sort of strategies do you employ both to secure them as a client and then to maintain them? You mentioned the 30-year relationship with Volkswagen and such earlier. How does that process work for you?
Well, here's how it works. I'll tell you how it doesn't work. I am not the guy that is the best buddies of the clients and the guy that goes out drinking and partying with them and goes on vacations with them and all that. I don't do any of that. I'm, a little more introverted than that. So the way we have attracted clients is that we focus on one thing and they can feel it. And it's differentiation. Okay. So differentiation is 15 letters and 6 syllables, and a lot of people can't even pronounce it. But it's really what's most important because we're in a commodity world.
Yeah.
And if the client senses that, wait a minute, these people actually think we're doing something that could be unique and could be leveraged. And we don't have to change everything we are to try to mimic some other company. We can actually be who we are proudly and rally our people and ultimately rally our clients to it. They're going, wait a minute. And I think they sense that from us. They also sense that we understand business, not necessarily their business. I'm never going to know more than the Macallan people know about their scotch. I'm
Yeah.
never going to know more. It'd be a great opportunity to really try to learn to know as much as them. But they're brilliant. They're geniuses, and I cannot come close to it. But my team understands the business world and understands that even a great brand needs help. Even a great brand needs to rally the people that represent them. And we can help those great brands do that. So I think we're saying, hey, you've got magic in what you're doing. You may not even see it. Bring us in. We'll find the magic. We'll help you promote it. We'll help you rally your team around it. And you're going to have, a lot more fun, and you're going to be more genuinely who you are than you've ever been.
Yeah. I remember quite some time ago, I was doing a project. It was a rebranding project within an organization that was
Mm-hmm.
kind of, essentially, going into a kind of umbrella organization. And we had a creative agency that came in, and some of some similarities of what you're saying there, Barry, where they came
Mm-hmm.
in and essentially made us, as essentially a construction company, made us think about our business differently.
Right.
So it's not bricks and mortar and buildings
Right.
and building codes and permits. It's, life changing. It's, the
Yeah.
landscape of the land that you're changing. It's the impact you have on the environment. It's your neighbors. And we, in the beginning, I have to admit, we were quite resistant because it was so new, but
Right.
we had such an affinity with this particular individual who just spoke our language and then pushed us, spoke our
Yep.
language and then pushed us. And then before we know it, we're looking and we're kind of looking back thinking, how did we ever survive before we thought, felt, acted in this way? It was an incredible transformation. It really was.
Yeah, and I think what you're describing is so important because we'll explain this to clients. We go, look, we're not coming in to change anything you're doing.
Mhm.
We're not. We're not saying, okay, stop doing this and start doing all these different things. We're not.
Yeah.
And we're also not saying, look, we're not going to pay attention to what you do and we're going to do something that's kind of cute and clever and, no. What we're going to do is we're going to find out what you do and the impact you make.
Yeah.
And we're going to make sure that's the language, that's the lexicon that's used.
Yeah.
Now, that ought to inspire everybody involved with your brand. And if it doesn't inspire more business, then you're in the wrong business because your customers are probably coming to you just for those reasons, even though you're not articulating them that well. So that's what we do. We help people embrace what they do that is unique, and then we help them celebrate it.
Yeah. Yeah. So positive. It just has such an uplifting feel to it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You must come across some resistance over time where people they just can't get out their way enough to get it, to understand. How do you manage those objections?
The objections we will get will be from people who feel they've got it all figured out.
Right.
And if we start talking to them about what we can do, and they go, no, look, I've got it figured out. We just want arms and legs to go do this and that. We'll usually just say, hey, we're really not going to be good at that because you can hire arms and legs that are cheaper
Yeah.
somewhere, and you'll find somebody down the street that you're friends with or your sister knows or something personal. It's like we're not going to compete with that.
Mhm.
So in some cases, we cannot compete. In some cases, we've had clients who really appreciated what we brought to the table to them, but then resisted doing the things that we said you need to go do. And in some of those cases, we just said, hey, it's not a good fit. So let's, on a friendly basis, let's just move on without each other. And we've done that too.
Yeah.
I hate that, by the way. I don't like it, but we've done that.
So you can't force people, you can force them to the water. You can't, force them to drink, sort of thing. So back to the Entrepreneur of the Year, being twice honored as Entrepreneur of
Mhm.
the Year is a big deal. What were some key moments or decisions that you attribute to earning these recognitions?
The two times that we won, and I guess I won it because it's entrepreneur singular of the year, the two times that I won it, but it was really my company that was behind it all, were all based on what we were doing out of a small city in Indiana. So where we're out of is Fort Wayne, Indiana, the sun and fun capital of the world.
Right.
Um, but we decided we did not want to be judged by our zip code.
Yeah.
And too many times we would talk to clients in other parts of the country or the world, and they go, "Where are you from?" And we go, "Fort Wayne, Indiana." And they go, "Well, what is that? Do you have FedEx there? Do you have blah, blah, blah there?" And I'm going, "Come on." And I thought, we have to step up and let them know what we can provide. So we made a big focus on working with national brands
Yeah.
so that our local clients thought, "Oh, you're not just those guys down the street." Our focus has always been that, look, we need to provide something that literally nobody else can provide.
Mhm.
Okay. So it's, McAllen has a lot of companies just down the street from them in Scotland. So why would they work with us? Well, it's not just because we're nice people. It's because we're providing some pretty good thinking and we're helping them and we're there to really serve them.
Mhm.
And so I think when we won those awards, Gary, it was all about this little company in a little city taking on the big people that were the big guys in the industry and winning quite often. And I think that was the gist behind it.
Incredible. It must have been a fantastic feeling for everyone involved. And
Yeah,
so
it was.
to get to,
No, you've said something funny. I hate to interject, but we, I was nominated and I did not expect to win. And
yeah,
one of my friends who knew I won because he was involved indirectly with the Entrepreneur of the Year thing. He knew I won.
right.
And so he said, "Are you going to go to the ceremony?" It was a couple hours away by car. And I said, "No, I don't think so." He said, "Well, you ought to go." And I said, "Well, yeah, I'll probably go, but I don't think we're going to win." He said, "You ought to bring your employees." And I said, "Well, I don't think so." He says, "No, no, I really insist. I think you need to bring your employees." And I said, "Well, I don't know." He said, "Look, it's really important for them, even if you don't win." And I said, "Okay." So I thought about it. So I brought about a half dozen of our people and I said, "Look, let's have a nice time. And when we're done, we'll celebrate and all that kind of stuff." And then they announced the nominees, and two of the nominees had really nice videos that Entrepreneur of the Year group had produced. And I thought they never came to me for a video.
Yeah,
So they show the videos of the first company nominated, the video of the second company nominated. And I thought, well, go. They never even did a video of us. And then they said, now the winner is, and it was us. And I thought, oh my gosh. So it was a great feeling. And I am glad I shared it because that's a rallying cry for your employees, and they need to see that. They need to see the reality that, we're actually doing something that's good. And
yeah,
that's not an everyday thought for an employee. So that's one of our jobs as leaders.
definitely. It's such a profound experience and learning from the experience, that opportunity to pause, that opportunity to take stock and say, just in case you don't know, because sometimes you can get busy being busy. This
Mhm.
is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. This is the impact we're having. This is a recognition that this is necessitating, because we can't be ignored for the work that we're doing. Incredible. And it's so great that you had the opportunity to listen to your friend, because I was thinking that you were going to say something along the lines of, Barry, what if you won? Wink, wink, kind of thing.
Right.
It sounds like he was subtle enough that he wasn't
He
giving the
was.
game away. Incredible. So a couple of times you mentioned, you're the best at what you do, and you provide a service that no one else can provide, and that kind of is a great hook and lead in to the book of the Power of Differentiation. And when you and I were chatting in preparation for recording this podcast, we talked about differentiation and how important that is for for your business, but for anyone who is looking to build a business, build a brand, and create impact. So, what are some of the key main takeaways that you would like the listeners to know about the differentiation?
The subtitle of the book, which is The Power of Differentiation, the subtitle is Win, W-I-N, Win Hearts, Minds, and Market Share. And so right off the bat, one of the key learnings is it's in that order. You got to win the hearts of your people. Then you
Yeah,
got to, win their minds over too. Say, hey, it is not just a really great place and we're not just, good people, but man, we're really doing some smart things,
yeah,
and then you win your client. So I think that's important. A couple other takeaways. We are constantly being pressured to be commoditized,
right.
and we call that the commodity monster. You have to fight the commodity monster. Fight it every bit of the way because it is so easy to dumb down your products, to cut those little rough edges off and sand them so everything's smooth, but all of a sudden you lost your personality and character. So hold on to what makes you unique, which gets me to the third point I'd like to share, which is don't confuse differentiation with superiority. It doesn't mean you're superior in every way. It
Yeah,
doesn't. And a lot of us go, well, since I'm not the best at everything, I'm no good. It's like, no, no, no. You are different. There are uniquenesses. So a Harley Davidson motorcycle is different from a BMW motorcycle.
mm,
And there's a differentiation. And there's a certain type of person that loves the Harley and a certain type that says, I'll only ride a BMW, as
yeah.
an example. So we have to realize it's not superiority, it's differentiation. And when you get rid of that differentiation, you've got nothing. So those are a few of the highlights.
Yeah, how easy is that to explain to clients? Because it's almost it can almost be described as abstract in a sense. There's the academic learning and understanding of what is differentiation and what is differentiation not, poor English,
Mhm.
no. But how do you use that as a an informational educational hook for clients? Because I could understand people now and again getting perplexed, confused.
Um, I don't have too much of a problem with it because there's such a need today for the leaders that we talk to inspire their people, to hold on to their people, to have a better retention rate, to have better quality in their company, their plant, wherever they're manufacturing or producing or servicing their products. And so it's not that hard for me to express it because they're thinking, you know, my people don't believe enough in what we're doing to stay with us or to do a great job. And I believe that we're doing something great. What am I missing? And I think when our company comes in, we give them hope that there is something they've been missing and it's right in front of them and it's something they can naturally do because they're already doing it now. They just need to start expressing it.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. And it sounds, in one sense, it sounds like a no-brainer, and you have that
Mm.
ability and
Yeah.
experience to be able to go in and find it. And I could imagine from the client perspective that in their respect, it's innovative. And that kind of brings me to my next question. Being in business for as long as you've been doing the type and style of work that you've been doing, requires some innovation to fight the commodity monster, to say
Right.
you actually don't want this. This is not us. This is not what value you can get from an impact that you can get from working with us. How do you approach, the constant evolution and innovation in the marketplace?
Well, the evolution that we've seen in the marketplace most of the time has been technology.
Mm,
And the technology that you could say fight or face and or embrace is technology that's not taking the place of what we do. That technology is not going to come in and determine what makes a client's product or service unique and
mm,
how best to work with the humans there and how to inspire and rally them. That's the technology won't take that position. Technology can help in making things done quicker in the area of creativity, or it could be great in getting an analysis done quickly. I mean, that's great. So we love technology for that purpose. But much of the challenges today are people based challenges and opportunities that are right there. And we're very people oriented in that we're going to help the leader revitalize himself or herself because they're going to feel so great about what they're doing, as well as their entire organization. And as I said, it's winning the hearts, the minds, and then the market share. I find it almost impossible if your entire team is rallied around what you do,
Yeah.
that you are not going to do well in your sales. I've never seen it. I'm sure it could happen, but I've never seen that happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's such a holistic approach to the positive cascading approach of the leader having a desire to get better, to evolve, to be more impactful, and then the cascade once that nut is cracked, the cascading impact to the folks that are working with that specific leader as well. You know, it just gets magnified and magnified and magnified. You must see that quite often.
Yeah, and it's exciting. It's
Yeah.
inspiring. The leader has more of a swagger
Yeah.
after we start working with them because they feel beaten up. They're human beings. A lot of people look at leaders and they treat them like they're a machine. They're objectivized, and they're not objects. They're
Mhm.
humans.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes they're difficult to deal with because they're dealing with very, very high pressured, frustrating situations. And, I will not eliminate all those for our clients, but I will, with my team, eliminate the ones that have to do with their differentiation in what they offer in the eyes of their customers as well as in the hearts of their employees.
Yeah. Yeah. Incredible. What advice would you give entrepreneurs, Barry, who are just starting out and want to add significant value via differentiation to their potential clients?
I would recommend a couple of things, and they're not necessarily easy. I would first identify what is it that I do or offer that is unique. And I'll probably suggest that you go to friends, you go to your clients, go to third parties who can look at what you're doing and say, well, you really are great at whatever. Because most of the time we're so close to it, we just don't get it. So I think that's one thing I would recommend. The other thing I would recommend is, especially in the early days, hold on to the quality and the relationships that you're offering. It's too easy to, you know, bring in a client and then hand that creative idea to somebody who doesn't care as much as you. And the client's going to feel it, especially in the beginning when you can't afford to have any kind of issues because that one client may be all of your business or most of your business. So I say hold on to that as best you can. It's not always possible, but hold on to what you promise that you're going to deliver and do your best. And I guess the final thing I would say is don't worry about being perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect is not attainable, but nobody looks for perfection, but they really yearn for a client relationship or a customer relationship or a vendor relationship where there's a person who owns it, who cares, not
Yes.
is perfect, but who cares and is going to make this right.
Yeah.
That's what I would say are the most important things.
Absolutely. It's almost lessons for life, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, sure.
The ability to be able to navigate that. This has been fantastic. Barry, where can people find you?
They can find me a number of places. I have my own website called barrylabov.com. My company website is labov.com. In both of those situations, you can reach out and send me a message. You can even set up a meeting with me. I love that. I love to connect with people. Also on LinkedIn, if somebody wants to reach out. So all the different social areas that you can reach anybody on, I am out there, and I'm happy to help anybody.
Wonderful. Barry, this has been absolutely inspiring today. Thank you very, very much for taking the time to chat with me.
Gary, great job. I love your show, and thank you very much. It's an honor.